Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TLS Qualifier number 6, the final qualifier of the first season of the TLS. I am Sale, and with me, as always, is Elegant.
Yes, indeed. Here I am. How are you this evening, Mr. Sale?
I am pretty good, Elegant. I'm pretty good. Although I have to admit, I did take a nap this afternoon, and I almost overslept. Man,
Yep.
It was freaky. I woke up and it was like dark outside. I was like, TLS, what's happening? But I was on time, so.
Yeah, that must have been a real scare. Imagine if you'd have slept through the start of the TLS. Imagine when you turned your Skype on and you were just like, oh my god.
That would have been terrible. Permaban from Team Liquid. Oh, my life is over.
Yeah. Yeah, GG.
Anyway, so, yeah, as I said, today's the last day of qualifiers, so after today we will know exactly who's going to be playing in the round of 24, which starts immediately, starts next weekend, so no breaks in between. We'll figure out exactly who's qualified, put them all into groups, and then all of the winners of the various qualifiers will get to pick their groups, and then we will release them so you all can see who's going to be playing each other. So that's all very exciting. But we're not there yet. Now, today is especially interesting, I think, because not only are we going to decide qualifiers by who wins the tournament, but we're also going to get the final points values. So, you know, up to this week, even if you didn't win a qualifier or place top 2, you still got different, different point values depending on how far you got. So semifinals, I think, got like 65 points, and round of 8 was 41 points or something like that. So there are various point values. You can actually look on Wikipedia for the entire chart of points, but it's actually quite close. So we take the top 12 people from the points ranking, and they all qualify as well. And the difference right now between like number 12 and number 13 is only 8 points. It looks like. So basically,
Wow.
I think if you get to the round of 32, that's more than 8 points already, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty tight there. Although the top 5 or so places are, I think, pretty locked in. I didn't really calculate myself, but for example, Terror has 169 points. He's at the top of the rankings, so I'm pretty sure he's just going to qualify regardless of how well he does in this tournament.
Yeah, I think he was already pretty much through yesterday. He's been destroying qualifiers, even though he hasn't actually got through to the final of any of them. He's been really consistently good throughout. So yeah, I think as of yesterday he was already about 50 points ahead of the second place anyway. So yeah, he's been looking great.
Indeed, but today will be about all those players who are not locked in yet. So there will be some players who have a decent amount of points, just want to finish high enough to get enough points to qualify. They don't necessarily need to win. And then obviously there are those players who maybe didn't participate in many qualifiers. Project, for example, a good example, is a very strong Terran who kind of just came back and only participated in this weekend's qualifiers. So I'm pretty sure he actually needs to place in or get to the finals if he wants to qualify. And I really hope he does. Really rooting for Project. I know he signed up today. He did okay yesterday. Got knocked out by Carriers. What are you gonna do? But yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Oh.
No, mind. Go on.
All right. Moving on to the first matchup of the day, it is going to be a TVZ OctZerg versus Radley on Fighting Spirit. This game is from the round of 16 of the tournament.
Yeah.
I think we're going to skip around a bit, actually. So we're going to start with the round of 16, but I believe the next game will be from the round of 32. It's all good. These are handpicked, awesome games from the vast number of games being played this evening. So I can assure you it will be very exciting.
Yeah, only the very best for you guys. I hear that Radley has quite an exciting playstyle. I don't know if it's true, since I don't actually think I've seen him play it at all, but that's what I'm hearing kind of around and about. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to getting grits with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, Radley, he's a Polish Terran, for anyone who doesn't know, and I think, he doesn't generally appear really high up. He's kind of under the radar, you know what I mean? So, I know he's fairly good, but I don't think he ever showed up on the notable players list or anything like that, and I'm not actually sure, 100% sure his max rank or anything like that, but I know he's a pretty good Terran. OctZerg, on the other hand, most of you should know, even if you're not a hardcore Brood War fan. If you know Idra, you should probably know OctZerg.
Yeah, he's another kind of old school player, been around for a very long time. Do you want to give us a bit more of a rundown of the history, Sale, or do you want to leave it so sitting in mystery land?
Well, you see, OctZerg, despite the fact that he's not Peruvian, likes to make a lot of Zerglings. He likes to do a lot of early Zergling aggression. So there was a pretty funny game where Idra was playing against OctZerg. OctZerg goes for mass lings, and Idra just makes a few fire bats and cheekily types in the chat, fire bats, OctZerg's natural enemy. So let's see if Radley makes some of those this game.
Yes, indeed. I don't know if OctZerg's kind of been out of the general view for so long that people have probably forgotten exactly quite how he plays. I don't know if that's going to be true for Radley though. But we'll see if Radley's kind of wise to the trickery that OctZerg is probably going to pull out.
So with that, I think we're ready to go into the game. Are you ready, Elegant?
I'm ready. I'm definitely ready.
All right, the first game, OctZerg versus Radley in the round of 16. Here we go. And here we are in game number 1 on Fighting Spirit. At the top right, as the orange Zerg, we have OctZerg Pain. What? I didn't know he was in pain. Actually, okay. That's not quite what I want to say. I wasn't. I didn't know he was in clan pain. I hope he's not physically in pain.
Unlikely. He's playing Brood War. I mean, if you had some serious ailment, then you wouldn't be playing TLS.
Anyway, his opponent will be the purple Terran, Ro16, aka Radley at the bottom left. I don't know, that might be the Polish way to spell Radley. I'm not really sure.
I think even that would be a bit far-fetched.
Hey, weirder names have occurred, aka like all of the Polish names that we try to pronounce.
You're gonna get told off again, you know. You're gonna get told off.
I've got like 2 Polish guys who keep PMing me explaining Polish pronunciation. It's quite cool, actually. I think pretty soon I'll be fluent.
Fluent in the weird pronunciation aspect of it. Anyway, is MCA64 in the chat? Probably not, because I was just waiting for the dressing down to come straight back right there. The reprimand from the ever-stern MCA64. Looks like we have a drone scout happening for OctZerg. He's going to scout the cross positions, and he's going to do looks like it's going to be a 12 hatch, which is all well and good. We could still yet see a pool going down, but it doesn't look too likely. And he's going to scout the Terran on his first attempt. And meanwhile, we just have a fairly normal barracks being thrown down in Radley's main. And yeah, the scouts are going to meet all normal stuff so far as the drone makes its way into the Terran main. And there we go, throw down the hatchery. Yeah, the hatchery happens. It's all good.
Indeed, so very, very standard 12 hatch, and gonna get lucky and scout his opponent straight away here with the drone. I mean, to be fair, he had an overlook going to the bottom right as well, so he only would have missed it if his opponent was top left. Just gonna do a bit of drone harassment. Oh, he's taking a lot of damage though. Only 11 HP left. He's trying to get that SEV, but it's gonna be a little bit tough with that other SEV just chasing him down here. Although obviously the drone will regenerate some of its HP, so it's back up to 10 HP. It's gonna try and get a few more spits off on the SEV. The SEV now down, actually to 11. It looks like the SEV randomly repaired one hit point. And one more shot on both of these workers.
Oh, that should have been a dead drone right there. That drone got so lucky. If you notice, the SUV micro is actually slightly off, and he was within range of the drone, I think. But it looks like both workers are going to survive, at least for the time being. The almost dead SUV is being repaired. The drone's running away. So somehow, both of them coming out alive after that engagement, whilst each were on 1 hit remaining. So intense stuff there from those two, but both coming away without taking any damage whatsoever. And Radley... Did he scout the Zerg properly? He must have scouted the Zerg properly.
I don't think so. I think that's his scouting SCV.
I thought he went cross positions first. That's weird. Why did I think he went cross positions first? I'm so used to seeing cross position scouts in this TLS.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We did see a lot of those yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we seem to see a lot of that.
In the meantime, we have a bit of an interesting development here in the Terran base. He's gone for his gas already. So, and his expansion. Okay, normally you either see a 1-Rax expand, which is like the go-to macro build, or you see like a factory first, and then you can do a factory expand, or you go for a starport and all kinds of weird shenanigans after that. I don't think I've ever seen a gas immediately followed by a command center. I suppose then that the gas might just be for the barracks tech, like getting medics and stim and whatnot, and not actually necessarily for a factory, but I'm not really sure about this.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. put a twist like that on a very, very well established formula. I mean, I'm not quite really sure how he's going to use that extra gas without, say, maybe cutting SCVs at some point, something which he could of course do, but it is slightly unusual. We have the engineering bay happening already, so he's going to be going for some fairly early upgrades, but again, it's nothing revolutionary. So yeah, curious to see exactly what use he has for that early gas. Scouting SCV is now running home with Lings hot on its tail. He might actually be able to catch a good number of these Lings. He manages to grab 2 kills, severely damages another. So yeah, no risk of run by or anything like that. And his scout returns home safely. Meanwhile, we have the lair already happening, and we have 3 hatches in already for OctZerg. So playing very, very standard style ZBT.
Yeah, so presumably he is just going to get a very fast +1 attack upgrade for his Marines from this engineering bay. But I mean, this build going for fast +1, it's fairly popular in TVZ. But I don't think you're supposed to get the gas before the command center, though. I mean, if you look at his gas value right now, it's almost at 400. Which is quite wasteful. I don't think he'll actually be able to spend all of that, even getting all the upgrades from the academy and the engineering base. So, you know, getting gas immediately after the command center is fine. I think that's usually when I see it. But this is slightly weird. In the meantime, the Zerg is doing a very standard build here, just going for 3-hatch Mutalisk, nothing out of the ordinary. Even though we were kind of saying how OctZerg likes to go for early Zergling shenanigans, he's not doing that this time.
Yeah, we have the fire already happening there. It is weird about the gas because it looked like a very, very deliberate decision. It is the kind of mistake you can make if your mind isn't entirely focused, and you might have been just thinking about other things, or maybe nerves are getting to him slightly. But it is unusual because it looks very conscious. So it's a bit strange in that regard. We do have the upgrades already blinking away, but as you already pointed out, he's still got plenty of spare gas in the bank. So he's just going to have to pump a few medics, I guess, and just try and get some of that used up. But he's still not mining gas at his natural. So I can't help but feel that this is just a little bit oddly weighted, but his first medic is out, so he should be able to start moving around, doing a little bit of the action. And where are you going with that drone?
An SCV actually made its way all the way into the natural, and that's actually extremely important because that means he saw a no-tech building in the natural, and he can use his 2 comsats, 1 on the main, 1 on the third, as you see there. So now he sees a spire. If he hadn't gotten that SCV in, he basically have to guess. He has 2 scans, and there's 3 hatcheries where a tech building can be placed. So if he got really unlucky, he might not have seen a tech building. But because the SCV got in there, he actually knew he's actually able to just place both his scans in the main hatches, which is actually quite useful here. So he's building some turrets now. He saw the spire, obviously, adding on a couple more barracks. I'm interested to see if he even adds on 1 more here. Then looks like he's just going to stay on the 4 racks, so going for a fast +1, 4 barracks, a very heavy
maybe not.
medic marine composition.
There might be another barracks about to happen here. There's an SCV. No, it's just making missile turrets. Okay, so he's getting his missile turrets up a little bit early, but that's good. Always better early than late, and he can spare a few minerals right now. Yeah, I think we're going to see him sticking on 4 barracks for now, which is of course absolutely fine. 1 Ling trying its luck into the natural, and that's a little bit annoying. Of course, manages to make his way out of the bunker and force the Marines to pull out and stim, but no biggie. Might manage to kill 1 SCV bizarrely, but no, going to be repelled, taking no damage whatsoever. And Muta now out, so this is where it starts to get real. OctZerg, how good is your Muta micro? And Radley, how good are you at dealing with this? We do have plenty of missile turrets up already. I wouldn't have thought there's any real in for these Mutas right now, but you never quite know what high level micro can do.
Yeah, I don't know why they're going back though. Why are they going all the way back to the main? Are they just
waiting
for... Wait, what? I thought they were moving out, but apparently they're just gonna chill. Okay, now they're going out. That's really bizarre. Maybe he just wanted to make sure that like the drones didn't randomly get sniped or something. That's very bizarre. I don't really know. Like, I don't think there'd be any way for Terran to have any kind of presence on the map at this point.
No. It'd be suicidal, really.
Yeah, aside from some kind of really bizarre early Vulture build, which Terror actually does sometimes. But aside from that, it's very unlikely. And meanwhile, the mutas are coming in here, going to try and poke around. I mean, he mainly, so this Muta attack doesn't need to do too much damage. It's just a 3-hatch Muta. You know, he's followed it up with the Hydrogen, the Evolution Chamber, and a third base, and all that good jazz. So he just wants to keep the Terran Pinto's base a little bit, do a little bit of harassment, but just mainly keep the Mutas alive and just keep the threat there rather than actually do any tangible damage.
Yeah. I mean, there's no real way in for these Mutas at the moment. He's going to try and pick off a few Marines, but he's so far taking many more hits than he's doling out. Although that's a decent little bit of control, and he's getting a decent enough position. But again, a Mutalisk goes down for the cost of 1 Marine. It's really not good enough. I think he's going to have a much better time if he preserves his Mutalisks and just wait until they can be more useful in the middle of the map, perhaps in conjunction with Lurkers as well. We do have a good number of Hydras being hatched out. Looking for the Hydras den now. I'm not quite sure if we have... Okay, we do have Lurker Tech already researched, so he's going to start making a whole bunch of those. And there's going to be a fair number coming in at once. We don't have any Lurkers actually morphing in at the 3rd base location, and a 4th base already happening at the top left-hand corner for OctZerg. OctZerg really going for a big expansion style right here.
I like that. And see, this is very annoying for the Terran because look how far apart those bases are. So the Zerg main is cross map, and then he's taken both other corners of the map. So wherever the Terran goes, he's going to be quite far away from the other Zerg bases. And of course, these bases the Zerg can defend relatively easily now. Just placing a couple lurkers at the top of the ramp will stop any amount of medic marine. And then once you get to the late game, you can connect all your bases with Nidus canals. So the distance doesn't really matter to the Zerg. Although there is only one lurker egg morphing here. That's slightly concerning to me. And by slightly, I mean the Marines can actually just run past this and just kill everything. So he's really gonna have to use his mutas now to help defend this. I don't know if that was a mistake or he just didn't have the money to actually build another lurker there because he's got 4 lurkers at his natural. Oh man, immediately taken down. Another lurker coming in from the back, but this base could very well go down right now. I don't think these mutas alone can hold this many Marines on the ramp.
Yeah, I really don't think so. There's one lurker back there already severely damaged. The mutas are going to try and do their best, but oh god, they're just going down like crazy. There's one Soaking Colony. I think OctZerg severely misjudged it, and this is why so often you see the lurkers morphing at the top of that ramp, and you see them morphing in as one of the first points of order, because you need those lurkers at the top of the ramp to defend this kind of thing. Otherwise, it's just too hard. The mutas aren't enough, and this base is undoubtedly going down. Look at all those drones. What a massive waste, and OctZerg is busted back down to 3 bases. It is sort of fortunate for him he has the top left, and if his positioning had just been a bit better and he'd have thought a little bit further ahead, he would have definitely been able to defend this one.
Yeah, that must be a mistake there or something. I mean, he had enough lurkers at his natural, so I guess just spent all the resources there and forgot to make 2 at the third. But at least he did take a very fast 4th base at the top left, which is now back down to his 3rd. So, you know, he's got that base. Of course, he did lose all those drones, though, so he's not really mining from that base. But he's definitely not out of the game yet. Meanwhile, at the Terran base, you know, we see the 2 starports working, so... Going for 2-port vessel, he's getting siege tanks as well, so I don't really understand this. You can't really afford 2-port vessel and siege tanks off of 2 base. The only reason he can actually build all of these things right now is because he got such an early gas at the beginning of the game, so he had a little...
Can that have been his plan?
Well, the thing is, though, you can't sustain it. So after this round of production, one of these vessels, or sorry, one of these starports is, either one of the starports or the factory is going to be idle. So it's going to be one wasted building, and I don't really like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm a fan of that either. I don't know if this really could have been his plan or if this is just a slight weird coincidence, and he saw he had a bit of extra gas, so he made up an extra starport or something. I don't know.
It's possible.
But yeah, it's kind of worked out weirdly for him. But again, yeah, there's going to be a redundant building sitting around, so I'm not quite sure that it's entirely the best thing. There is a sort of minor lurker container. Well, I say minor lurker container. There's a lot of lurkers, but there's very little to back them up so far. So with good siege tank position, he should be able to push out through this fairly easily. I mean, it's not like as a Protoss when you have to push out through a lurker container. It is a bit more achievable. And there we go. We see the tanks starting to range down the lurkers already. He just needs to be careful against. There is still a slight muta threat, and they're always going to be good at sniping off the tanks.
Yep, looks like one irradiate going off on the trailing or on the retreating lurkers there. A few more units coming in, but it's a pretty scary Terran force right now, but he's going for it, and the tanks were not sieged. He's going to fight unsieged here, but all the lings go down, the mutas all go down as well. The lurkers are still alive, but I definitely think the Terran got way better out of that exchange. Oh man, not the best position there for OctZerg. It was a decent idea. He had an okay-ish position, but the problem was not enough units, I think. Just not that many Zerglings to help cover for the lurkers before they got burrowed, and that was pretty bad for OctZerg right there.
Yeah, that was really, really bad for OctZerg. I was a bit worried for Radley at first, but the lurkers just weren't quite thick enough to really be able to kill all the units sort of at once. They were sort of spread out in amongst the Terran forces, and he was able to actually snipe off the forwardmost lurkers and then pull his units back to a safer location. And so Radley actually came out well on top. I mean, it can look nice when a lot of Marines start dying, but nonetheless, I think he did really well there. And OctZerg is repelled. And yeah, that was really quite nice for a Zerg player. It looks like he's going to try and go in again for another attack. Radley's still looking a little bit slow in terms of the 3rd base. However, he does have a dropship heading on over to the right, which is going to probably be able to squash OctZerg's 3 o'clock base pretty stone dead.
Indeed, and it looks like the army is going to pass just by each other here in the middle of the map, neither one knowing where the other is. I'm curious to see where this goes, but meanwhile there is a drop of the 3 o'clock base. A dropship was actually sent to rescue that first medic marine attack down at the bottom right because it got stuck in that base due to a couple of lurkers, and I think this base is actually going to go down. I was going to say, even though Radley is winning the engagements, OctZerg has just expanded like crazy, but once again losing another base, so back down to 3 bases, which is still not terrible because the Terran hasn't taken his 3rd yet. He just started his command center. It looks like it's about to finish up now. He's going to float that over to the 9 o'clock, but there's going to be a big counterattack going into his natural now. We could see a bit of a base racy situation, although there's a lot of stuff here at the natural. A lot of mines going to do a lot of damage here, and is this going to work? It's just a couple of lurkers left. No, not really able to do it. And OctZerg is now, I think, in a bit of trouble here. He's got this big Terran army that's still alive outside his base. He does have Defiler tech, though, so he can hold on. But, I mean, the third base is about to be set up for the Terran, and he's got nothing that he can do about it.
Yeah, OctZerg's in a huge amount of trouble. I mean, I was a bit surprised that Radley still hasn't scouted the top left-hand corner, but again, why would he have? But if he'd have seen that, then I think OctZerg would be saying goodbye to this game right about now. He is doing good use of Dark Swarm in order to push the Terran back from his natural, but that's not going to be enough for long, because Dark Swarm is not infinite, especially when you're a bit pushed for resource and you can't produce all that many Zerglings at once to consume, which is, of course, the absolute crux of the matter. The right-hand base is long gone right now. There's just Strike Force Marines hanging around there, and the Strike Force Marines hanging down the bottom right-hand corner as well. It looks like Radley is now ready to take that left-hand side base, and he's going to meet very, very little opposition. I don't know if there's really anything that OctZerg will be able to do to prevent that, and he's just going to have to try and stay level in the macro game.
Yeah, and now now that the Terrans got the map presence, OctZerg can't even, randomly take expansions again like he was doing. Although, ooh, grabbing a free vessel there, that's a pretty big mistake from Radley. I don't know why he left that there and didn't bring it with his army. I guess he just misrallied or mishawkeyed or something like that. So a free vessel is always nice, but looks like he is moving up to the top left here. There's no units here besides a handful of Zerglings to help defend that base, but there is a Nidus Canal that presumably is connected to the Zerg's natural there, so he can reinforce instantly. But he's going to have to send the Defiler and a couple of Lurkers there asaply if he wants to defend that base. I don't know if he's aware of this yet, but yeah, it looks like some units popping out of the Nidus Canal right now. But the problem, as you said, is that the third base of the Terran has been established. He's setting up some defenses there right now, and going to start mining there asaply, so that's not so good. But it looks like we do have an engagement here at the top left. Unfortunately for OctZerg, he didn't actually stop the army at the ramp, so now he's got to deal with this army running around in the base. Given how mobile Medic Marine is, it's going to be very annoying to deal with, although it looks like he's doing a decent-ish job here.
Yeah, he's managed to take out the tanks, which is important because, of course, no splash damage means that you can't kill stuff under swarm, which is crucial. However, we do finally have some radiates going down. They've taken a little bit of time, though. So most of this force is actually going to get cleaned up. However, not the whole thing, and it is still going to be dangerous. Doing a bit of a razor action as well. Taking down quite a lot of drones. I don't know how many he actually got, but I think a decent number. Okay, there's only 5 kills combined on those science vessels, so nothing terrible. But the Nidus Canal might go down as well, which leave this base very, very open. Just managing to get enough units back through that Nidus Canal in order to save it.
Oh man, I wonder if he just target fired the Nidus Canal instead of trying to micro against the Lynx, he could have gotten it. But either way, doing a nice amount of damage on this base, getting a lot of, or a decent number of drone kills there between the Marines and the Eraser.
Invincible Marine! Oh my god! Okay,
13 kills! Oh! 13 kill Marine. Yeah. That guy is a hero, though. That guy's a hero. But man, Radley keeps losing vessels left and right here. Really, really bad. But he's now sending out some vultures out on the map to lay some mines, of course. Doing this kind of mini vulture switch. Not really a switch, but just making use of the idle factory to produce some vultures because you don't have enough gas for tanks is a very nice thing to do heading into the late game ZVT, because right now the Zerg doesn't really have any good answer to spider mines. His main composition is Lurker, Ling, Defiler, and none of those actually attack spider mines, really.
Nope, not a single one.
So that's good. Interestingly enough, this little 2 Lurker container at the bottom right is still going on right here. A few units still stranded. Maybe he'll send another dropship to save those guys.
Maybe. I doubt it though. It looks like they're going to spend the rest of their days there. Imagine to push out through the Lurker container outside the main, losing a few units to that. But yeah, I think Lurker Ling Defiler is probably one of the worst compositions I can imagine when there's a significant presence of spider mines on the map. So I don't know quite why he isn't switching it up at least a little bit, because of course you run through a few Lurkers through spider mines and immediately you're going to have no Lurkers left.
Yep.
So that's not brilliant.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of difficult. I mean, the only unit that is kind of okay is the Hydralisk, but in ZVT you generally don't upgrade your Hydras, so they're slow Hydras with no range and no upgrades and just walking around, and you don't really want to use them to clear mines. It's a bit of a waste of resources, so oftentimes you'll just run small packs of Zerglings through mines instead to clear it that way, and occasionally you can get good mine bombs off and stuff. But yeah, it's just very, very annoying for Zerg to deal with. Meanwhile, we actually have another attack going up here to the top left, but it's got all Vultures instead of Siege Tanks in the composition. He has resumed Siege Tank production again, now that he did get his 3rd gas, so he can actually afford to make vessels and tanks from those 2 starports and the factory. Although he might, nope, not going to lose that vessel. But even though he's had 2 starports for quite a long time now, he's only got 4 vessels right now. Really should be higher, but he's been losing quite a few. And looks like the mass barracks float, well, not quite mass yet. He's got 2 barracks still on his main, but he is doing that late game TVZ mech switch. So he's going to be switching his composition completely from Medic Marine into mass siege tank and Goliaths and Vultures.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is cool.
I'm not quite sure about Radley's economy. The way I see it, he's very, very low on SCVs. I'm not quite sure why he's so low on SCVs. don't think he's lost any at any point, really. No significant number.
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh my God, that's actually true. He's got like no
He's really
SCVs
low.
at the third. What the hell?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really
I guess
weird.
it's just been really lax about SCV production, which
I hope we didn't miss like a lurker drop or something. That would be terrible.
I hope not, but I don't even think we've got Overlord drop upgrades, and we haven't even got Overlord speed. There's literally no way we could have missed a lurker drop. Partly because it's so awesome, and partly because it just wouldn't have happened. We do have a bunch of Scourge landing. We have the Stars Vessel doing the Eraser action on the Zerglings, which is going to be good. And it's going to go after the drones as well now, just as a bunch more Lings comes out through the Nidus Canal, and they're going to immediately go down. It looks like this Ultras is going to almost be able to do the job, and the reinforcing Lings are going to be able to clean up the last of those Marines. But Radley is using some good map control, looking kind of tempted to try and break out of the bottom right-hand corner. Still not deciding to do that yet, but he needs to produce some SCVs. Even though he sort of has cash in the bank, he probably shouldn't, and he should probably be thinking that he needs to be strengthening his economy right now. He has plenty of CCs on the map, so he could easily macro up a bunch of SCVs. Now, finally, he starts building them again. I can't imagine that was a conscious decision to cut.
Yeah, I am baffled by how you can have 5 SCVs on your third at this point in the game and not realize that something is wrong. On the other hand, though, as you said, he's got a lot of bank, so I guess I don't know what's going on here.
He's got no room in his main, so maybe he's just thinking, well, I haven't got room to build any more factories, so I can't really be bothered with any more SCVs. Well, that's the most obtuse logic I've ever heard. He's been so haphazard about his supply depot placement. If you look at this, if he just sort of clustered them all way over to the left, he would have so much more space for factories. But as it is, he's pretty much maxed out on his factory count at 6 factories or so, maybe even just 5 factories.
Oh, man. This is awesome. By the way, he's got no anti-air with this army, so all these vessels could get scourged. I don't know why he's got no Goliaths here. That's a bit bad. You can't just run around with only siege tanks. I mean, I know they're good, right? But like, a couple of scourge, you're going to kill all your vessels, and
exactly.
then a few units can kill all your tanks. It's like, not so good.
I mean, we saw that happen just then. A bunch of scourge.
Plague it!
Nice plague right there from OctZerg. So Radley's tanks are going to be in a spot of bother. I still have yet to fathom how tanks are susceptible to plague, but that's just the way it seems to happen. And Radley is now going to lose quite a lot of ground to the oncoming Zerg forces. OctZerg's going to be able to make a good amount of headway. I think Radley's his army count isn't as good as I was expecting it to be. He's still got money in the bank, he's still not mining that well, and he's still not macroing incredibly well either. I think he's just looking a little bit lackluster in the late stages of the game. I'm not pretty sure what's happened.
Oh man, one baller Ling just killed 2 siege tanks there because they were plagued. That's pretty sick. By the way, maybe the plague like works differently against vehicles by making them go rusty or something. You know what I mean? Like it just makes all the metal corrode or something. That'd be pretty cool. I'm pretty sure like the Overmind can figure out how to do that. I mean, I can't figure out how to do that, but whatever. Meanwhile, it looks like here, the Muta Switch is going to kill a lot of stuff here. This is what I was talking about. No anti-air. A couple of Marines now with the army, but that's not going to do anything against all these Mutas. They are well upgraded 2-1 against unupgraded Mutas, and the 2 irradiates on the Mutas, 3 irradiates. Just a mass vessel cloud is going to kill this man. OctZerg should have made a bunch of Scourge first to take down the vessels and then gone with the Mutalisks, or at least set them in at the same time, but just because there were so many vessels, they could just irradiate each individual Mutalisk, and just with a couple of random turrets there as well, actually clean that up. So definitely not what OctZerg needed. Meanwhile, OctZerg is basically down to just this one base at the top left.
Yeah, that's really, really weird. The weirdest thing about that engagement from OctZerg is when one of his Muselists was irradiated, he just sort of morphed it into a Guardian in the range of the missile turrets and still irradiated, which is surely a bit of a waste of cash. I can only imagine that was a mistake. We have a bunch of Blings coming out here to do a bit of mind clearing, but they're not going to be able to do the full job. And OctZerg is looking like he's going to be trapped again in the top left-hand corner. Radley is spreading out to more bases, but he's still barely mining efficiently off his current ones, and he's still banking quite a lot of money. I think he's starting to try and free up some space in his main. He's finally lifted the last of his barracks and is starting to construct some more factories. So with any luck, he'll actually be able to put out a good amount of units, but there are Lings coming into the 6 o'clock, and he's got pretty much nothing there to defend it. He's got a few mines, but these Lings, not quite able to deal with those, and they're going to be able to take out a few SCVs, which are actually quite valuable to Radley at this time of the game.
It's quite funny because like his money is really high right now, and I think earlier on when he was going, pure medic marine, that is sort of understandable because going for M&M is super cheap. So even though it looks like your economy isn't that great and you have a ton of barracks pumping, that you just like don't actually spend your money very quickly at all. But once you've gone for a complete mech switch like this, I feel like his money is going to drop very quickly. And as you can see, he's already dropping below 1,000 right now, especially having lost the space, or at least all the SCVs at this space. So yeah, I think he needs to kind of rectify that worker situation very quickly here, or he's going to find himself broke. Although at this point, I mean, he's got a pretty nice supply lead, a pretty nice army. I'm not sure, If
Well,
that's
OctZerg
really
is
gonna
actually on one base economy at this point, which is, I know Radley isn't exactly loaded, but he's not doing quite as badly as OctZerg in terms of economy. We have a couple of nice mine drives coming out here, and it looks like OctZerg is going to be able to break the container in the top left-hand corner, but he hasn't fully managed to shut down the base at the 6 o'clock position, and as such, I think this is still going to be a retrievable situation for Radley. He's still got decent map presence, he's still got more reinforcements coming out of his natural. His supply count's still not that big, but when you compare him to OctZerg's 78 supply, he really doesn't sound like he's so bad.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of random ultras going to head over to the 9 o'clock base as well, going to get taken down by those units in the bunker. Ooh, cute little trick there, unloading the units in the bunker, stimming, and then running back in. For those SC2 players who don't understand that, you can't actually stim the bunker in Brutal. You actually have to unload first and stim the units themselves. So it's a little bit annoying, but not a huge deal there. Anyway, looks like the ultras, I mean, you know, they're ultras, but with only a couple of them against that big mech army, it's not really going to cut it. And the mech army is well upgraded now as well at 2-2 against just like the 3-2 of these Zerg. So yeah, it's looking very, very grim for OctZerg right now. He desperately needs another base. Like maybe just try and take this natural here at the top left. I think he can actually take it if he uses a couple of lurkers and Dark Swarm.
Yeah, I think he probably could, although how long he'd be able to hold on to it for is another matter entirely, because I don't even think he can produce any more ultras at this point. He's just so broke. One base ultralisk just isn't a thing, and that's for the very good reason. Ultralisks, however it may look sometimes against late game Zerg, they are expensive, and you cannot keep up with them unless you have a pretty significant economy. So, did we just see a plague go down on nothing?
He just missed completely. There was only a single vessel there. All he had to hit was that one vessel, and he missed.
Wow.
Oh man, I wonder if that was a mistake. I wonder if he wanted to just cast a swarm there or something. But that's a pretty random location for a swarm as well. So I think that was just.
Oh my god, cracklings are so good. Did you see that right there at the top left-hand corner? They were just like taking out mines as they ran into them. That was absolutely amazing. I've never actually watched that before, but crackling's super imbalanced. Go for another assault on the 6 o'clock, but he just doesn't have the units to be doing this. He doesn't have the army count to actually make any significant dent.
Oh man, his eraser at the top left could be so good, but he's not over the drones. Go over the drones, man. Go over the drones. You've got a defense matrix. Go. Right click. I'm like trying to right click this vessel right now. I'm freaking out. Dude. Dude, you can kill all the drones. Please just go to it.
And of course, you can't irradiate yourself, can you? It's not possible.
No, he had another vessel irradiate him, and then the vessel ran away, and he went over there and completely missed the drone
he literally just forgot. And he keeps eating Scourge hits. Okay, now he finally remembers, and he irradiates a single drone. That is not effective use of your science vessel. So a little bit of an error right there from Radley, and OctZerg is continuing to assault the 6 o'clock with just small groups of Zerglings, because that's actually all he can afford right now. He has a trickle of gas coming in and a trickle of minerals as well. He has somehow managed to establish that top left-hand corner natural. I don't even know how that's been allowed to happen, but Radley is once again pumping out another group of tanks, but again his units just aren't coming that quickly. He's still barely mining at the 9 o'clock base.
Lurkers at the 6. Lurkers at the 6. Oh, that mine could kill him. Nope. Alright, go back. Go to the SCVs. Oh, pulled the SCVs in time. That would have been cool.
That would have actually been awful for Radley if he'd have lost those SCVs. That's like all of his SCVs right there. We have, so usually you'd have a few spare SCVs maybe hanging around the natural or something. No, he has 2. So if he'd have lost those SCVs, his economy would have been absolutely blown to pieces. Having said that, OctZerg is managing to establish the top left-hand natural, so his economy isn't actually that far behind in terms of pure speed of mining. Just because he's got so many more workers.
I don't understand how OctZerg is still alive. This game, man, this just shows, like, once you get to Hive Tech with Dark Swarms and stuff, and just how cheap and expendable cracklings are, you can do some pretty crazy stuff in ZVT. I'm sure Radley's getting slightly frustrated now, but, you know, he's still in a pretty good position. He's just got to keep calm and just try and, I think he's just got to try and mass up a bigger army this time. He keeps kind of getting into these small engagements where OctZerg is able to make good use of his Zerglings, like against siege tanks, just closing to, you know, to within their minimum range. So if he just kind of, you know, waits a little bit, masses up a little bit more, gets a pretty substantial mech army, I think he'll be good to go here. He just needs to kind of chill for a little bit and not get too frustrated, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think he needs to just maintain the control that he's already got for himself. He needs to stop the 12 o'clock base from happening. As long as he... Oh, drone killing a vulture at the 12 o'clock. We keep seeing this kind of crazy stuff happening. Another group of vultures heading over to 12 o'clock, but it's too late because the hatchery is already down. So this should be fairly easily defensible for OctZerg if he does this right. Oh, we can see a big mine hit managing to take out a couple of vultures. It looks like that base is going to be all right. But this is the kind of thing that Radley needs to be doing better at preventing. He needs to stop OctZerg from taking any more bases. If you were able to just keep him to what he had already, then he'd probably be fine if you were just able to take him any more bases he wanted. But I mean, there's no good reason for OctZerg to be able to capture that 12 o'clock right now. There really isn't when Radley has, by far, theoretically, the superior economy and the superior map position.
Yeah, I don't really know what Radley's doing right now. I mean, I guess it is just because his economy is actually not that great, that his army size isn't very big. I mean, you know, when you go for a big late game TVZ mech switch, you're supposed to have this giant, unkillable, you know, mech ball of doom, right? With like a million siege tanks and supporting vultures and Goliaths and whatnot. And he just doesn't really seem to have it. So, I mean, he's establishing another base here at the bottom right, but he's only got a handful of units there to defend it. Like, a couple of ultras will deal with that easy peasy, and that's exactly what OctZerg's sending down there right now. And OctZerg, you know, once he starts mining from that 12 o'clock, he'll actually be in pretty decent shape here with kind of 2 and a bit bases left. And looks like, oh, it looks like we finally have some drop-in action coming on Elegant. Some drops being loaded up at the top left natural there.
Yes, indeed we do. So this means that OctZerg is actually going to start being aggressive again, which Radley should not be giving him the space to do. He should be having to use all of his units on defending because he's in such a rough situation, map position-wise, that Radley needs to be much more active about stopping this kind of thing from happening. But nonetheless, OctZerg is going to be doing some dropping shenanigans. That is quite a lot of overlords. A lot of them not actually full, so there's going to be a few that are going to probably just tank damage. But he may well be able to take out the 9 o'clock base, even though he's actually minus surprising amount from it. I think he's going to be easily able to destroy this. Meanwhile, sending in a little bit of a strike force to the 6 o'clock. But a lot of stuff can be unloading right there. He should throw down the Dark Swarm just as quickly as possible as well. There you go. Down goes the Dark Swarm. And I think this base is probably going to be done at least temporarily, and we'll see how many SCVs go down as well in the process.
Oh man, that was a pretty expensive drop though. He sent in so many Scourge for the Overlords. I don't really understand what the point of that was. It's not like there's going to be a bunch of Wraiths waiting for him or anything like that. But yeah, it looks like he lost a lot of Overlords there, even consuming some Overlords to get some Swarm down, I guess. Maybe he's trying to play the tanks. Oh man, if he can play the tanks, Plague on the vessels. If he was just 2 hexes to the right, he could have got all the siege tanks, I think. Almost a beautiful plague, but the vultures were attacking him, so he couldn't quite wait for that. But oh man, a lot of units actually coming down from the natural as well. These tanks could be in big trouble. There's no supporting units. The Lings are going to close with the tanks. Radley's going to lose his army here. The double D matrix on the tanks isn't going to be enough though. He's going to lose a lot of these tanks. Some of them were plagued as well. The splash damage from the tanks is killing them. There's the Irradiate. He's going to get 1 last tank, and 2 tanks is all that's left of Radley's army.
But why? Why is his army so small? He's had the run of the map for ages. He could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and theoretically 6 if he took the middle as well, mining bases by now. But he just doesn't seem that bothered about economy. He's got the bottom right happening now as well, finally. But his army could be so much bigger than it is at this point. And I think he's really missing a trick here. Throughout this game to not be in a better, more well-established position than he is, because there's still sort of as a thin hair's width of hope that OctZerg could actually win this game somehow against all the odds.
Yeah, I mean, he's just being so cost efficient with these units right now. That's the thing, you know, with the mech army, it's very strong, but you can't engage in small numbers like that and get surrounded by Zerglings and whatnot, because, you know, the Zerg is actually going to be more cost efficient than you are, even though, you know, you're the Terran, you're the one who's supposed to be more cost efficient than the Zerg. It actually completely reverses if you just engage with small amounts of mech units. You really have to have, like, the big clump of units that are all supporting each other, you know, the big ball of siege tanks in the middle with the vultures and Goliaths preventing things from actually closing. And that's just not what he's doing right now, so I think he was much better off actually with his mech marine style, in fact, rather than doing this mech.
Yeah, I think he was as well. He certainly fared way better. He seems to be really struggling with the mech somehow, even though supposedly it's probably in a slightly easier style, especially when you're only controlling small numbers of tanks. I can't really see where the problems arisen. And throughout all this, OctZerg has 12 o'clock base. I mean, there's groups of vultures running around that should be able to go in and deal with that, but it's just not happening for Radley. He's just not doing it. The strike force is continuing to come into the 6 o'clock, as yet unable to really do anything serious about that. But I think sooner or later they're going to be able to break through. You cannot dematrix forever.
indeed you can't. And it looks like a bit of engagement here outside the Zerg's top left bases as well. Mine's going to take down most of those lings, but a couple more tanks might go down here. I'm not really sure, but more importantly, the 6 o'clock base is getting taken down once again. He's going to have to lift that command center and save all the SCVs. He's losing a good number of the SCVs anyway here, and he already had a low SCV count, as we've been saying. So OctZerg taking down that 6 o'clock base, leaving Radley with just the bottom right base, and this 9 o'clock base is getting very, very close to mine now. Again, with almost no SCVs here. Radley, dude, make SCVs, although it looks like some eraser happened or something on the top left natural there. Yeah, it looks like an eraser here, 12 kills on that vessel, 10 kills on the other one. The drones being evacuated there, and Radley not paying attention, going back to chase those again. So both players taking severe economic damage.
Yeah, really, really severe economic damage. I mean, I think Radley's economy, can I even say this? I think Radley's economy might actually be behind right now. I don't know, but at the very least, I think they're definitely even. Radley is certainly not way ahead in terms of the economic game anymore, like he could have been. Supply terms, he's still quite a long way ahead, and I still have to definitely give him the edge. But it's not as clear cut as it should be. I don't know how OctZerg is still managing to be active when he's at such a supply deficit, because supposedly, anyway, Radley should be able to just kind of establish good positions, keep a fair number of units back to defend, and kind of pressure the top left-hand corner, and everything should be looking absolutely lovely for him, but it's just somehow not.
It's so funny. I mean, you know, Radley's on 144 supply against 79 supply of OctZerg. It's almost double the supply, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at it, even though both players, excuse me, were taking a lot of economic damage for a while there, before Terran lost to 6 o'clock, they were on even bases. And Radley was ahead on bases for a little while there as well. In fact, there's a drone coming into this drop. It gets taken down. But the rest of the units do drop here at the 9 o'clock base, and this could be very, very bad for Radley. It looks like a couple of Ultralisks. Are they going to actually take it down? These tanks need to unsiege, but it looks like the Ultra is going to take both of the tanks down. He needs to irradiate it or something, or do something. It is close to his natural, so he can bring in some reinforcements, but it looks like all the reinforcements he's got is a few Vultures and a single siege tank, and Vulture's going to do basically nothing against an Ultralisk. So just got to make sure that that tank stays alive. Looks like going to irradiate it as well to finish it off. But man, what a game by OctZerg here. I thought he was down and out like, 15, 20 minutes ago, but he has been holding on like a champion. Oh my god, the mine! Don't kill the mine, Ultralisk! Don't kill it! Oh, that could have been so good. The Ultra killed the mine that would have blown up like 20 SCVs.
That is absolutely horrible. That actually happens a fair amount, weirdly, but not when you're Protoss, so gutted for us. But it looks like OctZerg is actually going to be able to... Oh, big mine right there, taking down a whole bunch of lings, but it looks like OctZerg is going to be able to pretty much get rid of the 9 o'clock base. There's no SCVs mining there whatsoever. They have run away to the natural expansion, but there's hardly any SCVs there either. Radley no longer has a 6 o'clock base. He does have the 4 o'clock base, so he kind of has something still going for him. He has a decent number of SCVs there, but that's pretty much his whole economy at this point. So he's off 1 base whilst OctZerg is off 2. What is happening here? I don't understand why this is going on. And in supply, I mean, Radley's kind of falling back. He's falling behind. Although having said that, OctZerg isn't exactly looking super amazing on supply terms either. But once again, more lings coming into the 9 o'clock base. Why is this not defended?
I have no idea. It looks like some random Vultures running around the map. Oh man, if they run into the top left base, there's only 1 lurker to stop them. They could kill a lot of drones here. They should just go in. There's only 1 lurker. Just go. Kill it or do something. Run past. And it looks like they're going to kill it. Meanwhile, the lings that were harassed on 9 o'clock haven't taken down a few lings here, trying to defend these Vultures, but Vultures are pretty damn good against lings. The drones are running to the 12 o'clock, but the Vultures will just chase them down here. Oh man, OctZerg might lose his entire economy. The drones are just trying to fight here, but oh god, all the drones going down. 2 emergency Hydralisks is not going to be enough. And these 3-3 Vultures just massacring everything. They should go to the 12 o'clock, kill all the rest of the drones. It's an undefended base. Go to the 12 o'clock, Radley. Go to the 12 o'clock. He's going to the 12 o'clock. No, he's not moving. He's not moving.
He has to block the ramp with those 3 Hydralisks. Okay, he does block the ramp with those 3 Hydralisks. He needs to go and kill those Vultures though, because those Hydralisks aren't going to last forever. And he does finally get around to going to kill those Vultures. Whoa, that was a close shave. When I say a close shave, it was more like cutting only half his face off rather than the whole face. So it's kind of way too close to shave for comfort, but nonetheless he does survive with kind of 1 base's worth of drones, so I guess that's something. And economically we're right back even again, because Radley loses a base, OctZerg loses all his drones, so yeah, back to square one for these 2 guys. We are still seeing Scourge be successful against science vessels in the bottom right hand corner, which is a little bit weird. Still very light on the anti-air right now for Radley, so he's still not looking amazing in terms of science vessel count. He's only got 4 vessels out and about as far as I can see. Oh no, he's got 4 more waiting his natural, so 8 vessels total, not too bad. And now a decent tank count, but his supply is has fallen significantly since last I checked, and his minerals are coming in at an absolute snail's rate.
Yeah, it looks like Rally decided that, you know, since all that random attacking with small groups of siege tanks isn't really working out, he's just going to leave all his tanks and vessels at home and only attack with vultures, which, to be honest, is not a terrible way to play Terran. Like, that actually works in a lot of well, it works in all matchups, really, if you're good with your vulture harass. So,
Yeah.
and I think that might actually be better, because, you know, that's exactly what I was saying earlier, how he kept losing the small groups of mech units, but, oh man, the 12 o'clock base is getting owned by vultures again. There's 3 hydras, but they're not doing anything. And these vultures can actually kill all of them, even though vultures usually not that great against hydras. But all that thought, another drop here coming down to the bottom right. There's a couple of mines, a couple of siege tanks, but oh man, so many siege tanks in the back. I don't think that's going to go too well for OctZerg here. He's trying to get one Overlord. No, it doesn't drop its Ultralisk there, so the Overlord dies with the Ultralisk inside it. A random irradiated Hydra getting taken down as well, and the Vulture is still alive here at the 12 o'clock base. The drones have mostly been evacuated. Well, mostly, I mean, he only saved like 8.
Yeah, not amazing, but it's incredible how fast vultures actually get through drones. I mean, the drones ran away quite quickly, but already there were at least 8 or so lying dead on the ground, so it's just so immediate, that effect of vulture harass. It's really, really, really brutal and fast. And yeah, OctZerg is way set back in his economy right now. He does still have a surprising number of drones at the natural expansion there in the top left, but again, not as many as he'd like to completely repopulate that 12 o'clock. Once again, his Relegated is producing very, very few units. He has 52 supply in total. I can only imagine this is going to be it for OctZerg, because finally Radley has managed to scrape together a decent kind of sense of who he is, where he is, and what he's meant to be doing, and is now on 150 supply and has 2 mining bases established. 6 o'clock is established as well again, and he's somehow managing to actually cobble together a successful defense in the bottom right hand corner. So I think he's probably going to have this in the bag as of now.
Yeah, he's finally actually playing this properly here, establishing all those tanks at the bottom of my base. It's very, very difficult for Zerg to actually break this. There's actually a lot of cool games where, you know, Flash does this kind of style, and it's just so unfair when you watch it. It's like, how does Zerg possibly break a position like that? You know, sending in the Vultures to trading them for drones is absolutely good. The Vultures are basically expendable at this point. So, you know, might as well just keep hampering the Zerg's economy while you build up the tanks. The thing is, you keep trading down Vultures for drones while keeping your siege tanks alive. So eventually, you'll just have, you know, an insane number of siege tanks, and because his economy's been so harassed, he just doesn't actually have anything to deal with it. Not like anything can actually deal with mass siege tanks anyway, but, you know.
Yeah,
one random Ling and Defiler at the bottom right.
Oh, no, they're going to win the game. Not.
He irradiated it!
Yeah, and laying down a mine as well to deal with that final Defiler. Not that it could do anything, he could have just waited for it and just let it sit there, because it was able to do literally nothing for quite some time. But feeling the need to get rid of everything right there, completely fair enough. And OctZerg is out of options, he's out of cash, he's got no money in the bank, he's on 59 supply, and Radley is finally making that map control count. Look at how wide his sphere of influence is right now across the bottom half of the map, whilst OctZerg is just kind of hoping that no more vultures go to his 12 o'clock, because if they do, he's stuffed. He has nothing with which to defend that.
At the top left with double D matrix as well. Oh no, OctZerg run, but he's got nowhere to run. Oh no, he's gonna lose so many. One vessel goes down, but the other 2 are D matrix. They're gonna get so many kills here, and all the vultures finish it off. Or not. Wait, what?
There's an Ultralisk.
Wow, how did those 2 drones actually survive there?
I actually don't know. I think he was just leaving them to strike fear into the hearts of the rest of the drones with terrible tales of what happened.
Yeah, once they get to the 12 o'clock, all the other drones just stop mining out of sheer terror. Like, oh my god, guys, just run away, run away. I don't know why he hasn't gotten burrow, by the way. If you just burrow your drones, they can't get erasered, so...
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So that would have been a good idea, but it didn't happen, so...
Yeah.
Yes, again, losing more drones. OctZerg still kind of clinging on, hopefully, to this game, but... Radley has to be all over it right now. He really has to be. I don't know why he's not just kind of uprooting and rolling over OctZerg at this point, but he's still kind of setting up extra defensive lines, which is kind of understandable after the way this game's gone for him. I mean, it's at no point looked as secure as it should have been, but, you know, I think he can probably afford to push the boat out right now and actually, you know, seal a deal.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's just being overly cautious, considering he almost lost the game after being in an amazing position, but... Wow, poor drones. Poor drones. Oh man, see, Burrow would help there too. Or actually, I guess not, because you could just scan it. But
it looks like he's going to take down Lurk on the route.
Seriously, when you're getting Eraser non-stop, just get Burrow, and it doesn't actually do anything.
Eraser does work on Burrow, doesn't it?
No.
Really?
Yeah, the splash doesn't affect the borrowed drones.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I always thought Eraser did work on borrowed units.
Nope.
Wow, okay. Well, I learned something today. We now have one Ultralisk, one Hydralisk, and one Defiler. One of the Hydralisk goes
the
down.
A-team.
It is the A-team. It's a good team.
Oh wait, there's a second Ultralisk. It's like having two Mr. T's.
I don't even know how he's affording two Ultralisks at this point. Yeah, he's barely mining off one base. Yeah, I don't quite know how that's happened. It just goes to show that the Zerg pockets are deep indeed. But continuing to irradiate more stuff. Oh,
he hit his hatchery!
Oh no!
He plagued his hatchery on accident. He even plagued the larva on accident. Oh man! And the vessels are just gonna eraser it anyway. They don't care.
That's
poor hatchery. That poor hatchery.
Never even saw it coming. Hydras managed to step out science vessel, another science vessel goes down, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. There is literally no way that OctZerg can possibly win. He's on 41 supply, and even that's too much. He hasn't got the Oculus to support 40 supply.
He's supply blocked at 40 supply, Elegant. How does that happen?
I actually don't know. Whilst Bradley is on 177 supply, Bradley, just,
we gotta roll out.
Finish it. Uproot and finish it, man. You have the Terran power behind you. You have siege tanks. What more do you want?
Well, I think he heard you all again, because now the tanks are unsieged. They're moving out. This could be the final blow here. I mean, 46 supply against 183. I wonder how that's going to go.
I would be shocked if a handful of drones, 4 Hydralisks, and 1 almost dead Ultralisk could actually hold this off. I mean, I'd applaud, but it just really isn't going to happen. Otherwise, everyone would not make tanks anymore.
Dude, watch. He gets like one swarm and one plague, and all of the tanks die. That would be so funny.
Yeah.
Still, they happen to. Oh, the Vultures are just finishing everything off there by themselves. They don't even need the tanks. Here we go. The A-move tanks coming in here. OctZerg. He's in big trouble. And by big trouble, I mean he was dead like 10 minutes ago. But valiant effort from him.
Yeah, he's been dead for a while already. It's just kind of... I mean, I can see why he was in for a while, but honestly, now he is done. These tanks are just going to be able to steamroll everything. He's still making up lurkers to block the ramp. When you're fighting against like 20 tanks, look, that's good at 7 minutes.
He's bugging them out though. Look, they can't figure out how to get up.
Bradley's unit's just freaking out here. They literally don't understand what they are seeing. They're like, why are you bothering with this? Why are you making those? We can just siege you down, and that's exactly what he's going to do. OctZerg's still going to try and scourge out science vessels because there's still no anti-air with this army. So even now, science vessels are needlessly dying, laying down their lives for the good of the Terran. And OctZerg is still running his drones away. OctZerg, where are you running them to? You have nowhere else to mine. They may as well just stay and die. This is the worst GG timing I've ever seen in my life.
He's going to fight down a single-digit supply. He's at 18 supply against 179. His opponent has literally 10 times his supply right now.
If he could float his buildings, I think he would be.
I think that's exactly what's happening. He's going to start hiding extractors on the map, except that the Terran already has all the
He's distance mining! He's actually distance mining! I'm so angry, OctZerg. I am very angry. This is ridiculous. You mustn't distance mine. How far into the game are we? I usually don't look at the replay progress, but 46
GG!
minutes! GG! That hurt me a lot. My God.
So beautiful again. It was that. that was beautiful. Oh,
I don't even know what to say about it. Like, I think we analysed it to beyond what it needed in the game, just because it lasted for so long and it was so done from such an early point. I don't even think anything needs to be said. I think we just need to get on to the next game. Because yeah, that was painful.
Dude, at least Radley won in the end. Can you imagine how mad he would have been if he lost after getting in such a good position early game?
Oh my God.
So I mean,
it always happened.
I can kind of understand how he, dragged it out at the end. Just like absolutely sure that he would win, but
yeah.
Man.
Wow.
Right. Okay. I think yes. I think the viewers have probably had enough of that game as well. So we're gonna go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have another match for you. This time it'll be a PVZ. So don't go anywhere.
Be right back.